Stimulus checks are being sent out, and here's the latest news on this. Joe Biden's Build Back Better plan is currently providing eligible Americans, everybody, with more stimulus checks, and this is official. Stimulus money is actually available right now. In order to claim the money, here's what I want you to know.
And now we'll Build Back Better Act, most historic legislation for working families in a century, jobs, bigger union jobs, higher paying jobs, lower cost, cuts taxes, make the wealthiest and big corporations pay their fair share.
The last batch of California stimulus checks are going out to eligible Americans today. This is part of the Golden State Stimulus Program, in which an estimated 9 million Californians are eligible for checks. The stimulus payments are worth between $600 and $1,100. The last batch includes 180,000 stimulus checks, valued at about $127 million.
To transformation, just a path that is so excellent, and again, congratulations to you and thank you for being a model.
So the last batch includes 180,000 stimulus checks, valued at about $127 million in total. So stimulus checks do aim to provide relief to low-income households that are affected by the ongoing crisis, folks. And Gavin Newsom has approved about $12 billion in stimulus funds. The second Golden State stimulus payments began in October 2021. It will continue through the end of this month. But the good news is that the automatic stimulus checks could be passed very soon. That's done in an effort to safeguard against any future recessions. Senators in the White House are considering setting up automatic relief for the next time the economy takes another significant dip. The Economic Security Project, everybody, has already had a discussion with 50 staff members from the Senate Finance Committee on automatic stabilizers. These are stimulus payments, folks. They would tie the issuance of expanded unemployment payments and stimulus checks to the state of the economy. The organization also had conversations with Joe Biden's administration, and they are hopeful that the measure will be included in a final draft of either the American Families Plan or the American Jobs Plan. That's Biden's next big legislative push. So in reference to the Biden administration, Adam Rubin, the director of the Economic Security Project, told reporters they understand that this is a smart policy and good politics. Putting in place these kinds of triggers would smooth out the recovery and no one is left at the mercy of Washington. So I definitely agree that automatic stabilizers would have a massive impact and make a big difference positively on Americans. Automatic stabilizers are often tied to unemployment rates. In this case, economists are still pushing for a two-pronged plan that would see broader targeted payments based on the state of unemployment. That's when unemployment is very high, as was in March 2020. Payments would be sent out to a broad amount of people, as the jobs payments become more concentrated in lower class and working class communities. So as relief measures go, stimulus checks and unemployment insurance are not cheap fixes to the economic problems. I know that many Americans are still struggling right now because of the crisis, and it is clear that another round of stimulus payments should be passed soon. But the 3-round stimulus checks alone cost more than $850 billion. Republicans have voiced opposition to the level of spending that Congress put into crisis relief. But the good news is that the White House has backed automatic stabilizers. For unemployment insurance, and Vice President Kamala Harris supported recurring payments. The current crisis economic downturn is very similar to the 2008 recession. That was the last time the government sent direct payments to Americans. It's generally agreed upon that relief fell short of what was needed at that time. So let's hope the mistake is not made again. Thank you again for your support, folks, and if you have any more questions about the fourth stimulus check, just leave them in the comments below. And until next time, have a great day.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, last evening we had two very sad moments of silence yesterday for 800,000 people who have died from COVID. We had a moment of silence on the floor of the House, but also on the steps of the Capitol in bipartisan House and Senate remembrance of those who lost their lives. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families and those who have lost their livelihoods as well. But the deaths are so very, very sad. It's so hard to comprehend. 800,000 people, and the number continues to grow, but we continue to be optimistic about the effectiveness of the vaccines, the awareness that some people are coming to that they need to be vaccinated. They need to be vaccinated. Then we also had the moment of silence for those who were affected by the storms. I was very moved by Representative Comer, who represents Western Kentucky, as he spoke, calling for a moment of silence about those who lost their lives. I talked to him after, and he was going to be traveling with the president today. So far, they're pleased, you can be pleased, but have received a federal response that is necessary. And talked to my former chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Rogers. He knows what we can do, and I'm sure that if there's more that Congress needs to do, he will inform us of that. He told me that the storm, it was a mile wide. The phenomenon was a mile wide and with such force. So very sad. Yesterday was a busy day for us legislatively. As you know, we passed a resolution against racism in our society, establishing a special counsel at the Department of State to fight Islamophobia, talking about the numbers of incidents against Muslims in our country. In terms of anti-Muslim sentiments, we also passed the WECAR bill, which talks about China to end what they are doing there. I mean, that's genocide. It's genocide in China. The interest, though, in it across our country is about the human rights aspect of it, but also the forced labor piece of it. When the President Xi brings these people into these forced labor camps and separating them from their families and taking other drastic actions, he is also engaging them in forced labor. And that is something that we cannot have our businesses compete with. So from a moral standpoint, a value standpoint, the legislation was very important. And from a trade standpoint, essential as well. The big event for us yesterday, of course, was the debt limit, to lift the debt limit. It's just always so interesting to me that the Republicans vote against lifting the debt the ceiling on the debt limit. It is something that threatens the financial security of our country, gambles with the personal financial security of families, and again, the health of our economy as well as its impact globally. It's one thing to say, well, we'll have a few votes against it to make a statement. It's another thing to say we shouldn't be doing it. And that's what they did yesterday. And just so people know how it affects them, of course, it has a big impact